Welcome to the deep dive, where we really try to cut through the noise and get you straight to the heart of what matters. Today, we're plunging into a question that's probably crossed your mind. What does it really mean to be financially secure? And, maybe more importantly, is there a difference between being rich and being wealthy? And which one should you actually aim for? To help figure this out, we've got a stack of sources, financial articles, some practical guides on, like digital money making, investing wisdom, the works, our mission. Unpack these ideas, give you some actionable insights, and maybe reveal a few surprising things to shortcut you to, well, knowing what's what, so you can approach your own finances with more clarity. Okay, let's unpack this. So let's dive right into that core distinction. We looked at this article, rich versus wealthy. It really makes you think, doesn't it? How does it define rich versus wealthy? What's the big gap between them that maybe isn't so obvious?
Yeah, it's fascinating how clear the line is once it's drawn. Rich, according to the source, is often, tied directly to high income. It's about having the cash flow for a lavish lifestyle.
Yeah.
Think luxury cars, designer stuff, spontaneous trips.
Right, the visible stuff.
Exactly. Instant gratification, spending. Which sounds great, but the source points out a big pitfall. Instability. We've all heard stories, right? Celebrities, athletes earning millions,
Oh, wow.
and then facing bankruptcy. That's because being rich is often about the money coming in and how fast it's going out, sometimes relying heavily on credit, too.
So it's kind of precarious, like walking a tightrope.
That's a good way to put it, a high wire act, yeah.
Yeah.
Your expenses can easily catch up or even get ahead of your earnings.
Okay, so rich can be temporary, maybe even a bit of a facade. What's the contrast then? What does wealthy look like?
It's a totally different picture. Being wealthy, the sources say, is less about the income flashing past and more about real financial control, lasting stability. It's defined by having a strong net worth, build carefully, prudent management, strategic investing over the long haul.
So it's about what you keep.
Exactly. Wealthy people prioritize building assets, things that generate income or grow in value, and they consciously minimize liabilities like high-interest debt. Their focus is on the future. Saving, investing, financial discipline. It's about long-term goals, less stress around money. Basically making your money work for you.
That's a huge mindset shift.
It really is. Rich chases short-term pleasure, status. Wealthy focuses on growing net worth over time, cutting debt, building a solid financial base. The key takeaway is clear. Wealth is about how much you keep and invest wisely, not just how much you earn and spend. Accumulation over consumption.
It's so easy to get caught up in wanting to look rich, isn't it? Especially with social media.
Oh, definitely.
But hearing this distinction, lavish spending versus quiet accumulation, instability versus long-term peace, it makes you think, which path feels more appealing to you listening right now?
The source definitely leans towards aiming for wealthy, for that real security. It's more like a marathon than a sprint, which honestly sounds a lot less stressful.
Okay, so we understand why wealth matters more. Let's talk about the how. Our Wealth Potpourri source had these 5 gems, practical stuff, bridging theory to, well, the real world. And this is where it gets really interesting, how to actually build that wealthy foundation, starting with something super relevant now, digital monetization.
Right. And the source acknowledges that getting started with, say, AI tools for content creation, it can feel like a lot. Which tools, what's free, what works, that initial hurdle.
Yeah, overwhelming.
But the insight isn't just which specific tool. It's about understanding how mastering these digital helpers lets you create quality stuff with way lower overhead. It's about becoming self-reliant, scaling up, boosting your digital margins, turning your creativity into, well, a wealth-building engine.
Can you give some examples from the source? What kind of tools are we talking about?
Sure. For images, it mentions Leonardo.ai, good for quality image prompts, fast, and it gives you free credits to start. For video, which is huge for creators, it lists a few. A Cool is fast, gives one-time credits, maybe not the best animation. Dreamina has the best animation quality, slower but daily free credits.
Okay.
And Kling.ai is kind of a middle ground, medium speed, good quality monthly free credits. The point is, using these lets you make professional-looking content efficiently. You keep more of the money because your production costs plummet. You're building your own little content factory.
That's powerful, building your own factory. And it ties back to the wealthy mindset, right? The upfront work for long-term reward. The source also mentioned something about passive income, that it's not quite what people think.
Exactly. A really key point. Passive income isn't really passive. It's a bit of a myth. You don't just flip a switch and money appears. There's significant upfront work making the content, setting up systems, learning those tools we just talked about. But the brilliance, the smart wealth building part is doing the work once and reaping rewards over time.
Like an ebook or a course.
Precisely, or a YouTube channel. You invest the effort up front, and that asset can generate income for months, maybe years, without constant active work. That's the strategy. The source also points to Go Leap as a useful resource, a community for creators.
Okay.
Yeah, a place to share tools, strategies, get access to wealth products to promote. It's about helping creators level up their digital game and understand how to build that long-term income.
That's a great look at the digital side. But the Wealth Potpourri source also reminded us that wealth building isn't just about big investments or fancy digital stuff, right? It's also about smart management, protecting yourself, practical things everyone can do.
Absolutely. The source highlights some really crucial practical guides, like budgeting irregular income like a pro. Super important for freelancers, creators, anyone with fluctuating income. It helps avoid that financial chaos, the feast or famine cycle.
Yeah, that can be tough.
Definitely. It gives strategies for creating a buffer, a clear spending plan. Then there's how to pick ETFs like a pro.
ETFs, exchange traded funds.
Right. Those diversified baskets of investments. This guide helps you choose smartly, confidently, so investing doesn't feel like, picking a random lottery number.
Take some guesswork out.
Exactly. And it also covered Unlock YouTube Revenue, a beginner's guide, showing how to turn views into cash. And it makes a great point. You don't need 1 million subs to make your first dollar. It kind of demystifies it.
That makes it seem achievable.
Yeah. And finally, a really important one, how to avoid getting scammed in real estate deals. Crucial for protecting your money. It teaches the warning signs, the red flags, because as the source says, if it smells too good to be true, this guide will help you sniff it out.
Good advice.
For sure. And if you connect all these dots, the budgeting, the smart ETF choices, leveraging digital tools, protecting yourself from scams, you see how all these small, disciplined habits build on each other. They're the foundation for that stable, long-term wealth. It's about being informed and proactive everywhere in your financial life.
Speaking of long-term wealth and smart investing, let's shift to the Rich Reads Real Wealth section. It highlights a book, The Simple Path to Wealth. The title alone sounds good, especially when finance advice feels so complicated sometimes. What's the big idea here? How does it cut through the complexity?
This book, it's kind of a game changer for a lot of people because the core idea is so, simple but powerful. It basically says investing in low-cost index funds and just holding them for the long term is the smartest, easiest way to grow your money.
Index funds, like buying the whole market.
Pretty much, yeah. The book uses great analogies like planting a money tree and letting it grow instead of running a crazy stock market marathon. It just removes the intimidation factor. The source emphasizes why this matters. Complex strategies, trying to time the market, picking individual stocks, they often fail. But steady, patient investing wins the game. It argues patience isn't just a virtue, it's the secret sauce to building real wealth without losing your mind.
That sounds incredibly appealing. Less stress, more growth.
Right. It simplifies something that feels overwhelming for so many, empowers them to actually take control.
So it sounds like set it and mostly forget it, but based on a solid principle. What's the concrete action step it recommends?
Yeah, it's informed. Set it and forget it. The action step is super clear. Open a brokerage account and start regularly investing in a total stock market index fund. Like today. The source calls it setting up a money-making assembly line that works while you sleep.
Huh, I like that.
Or binge watch your favorite show.
Yeah.
It's about consistency and letting compound interest do the heavy lifting over time. You own a piece of the whole market, let the economy drive growth. The hot take sums it up perfectly. Simple investing advice that sounds boring but actually makes you richer. Who knew being boring could pay so well? It really challenges that idea that you need constant action or big risks to get ahead financially. Sometimes the quiet path is the most effective.
It's a great point, the quiet path. But, okay, let's pivot to something, well, not quiet at all. From the Wealth Whizzed Did You Know section, how a rock became $1 million pet. A pet rock. Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. How does that story fit into rich versus wealthy? It sounds like a quick buck, a rich thing.
It does sound like that at first, but it's a brilliant example, actually, and it connects to building sustainable wealth in a surprising way. The lesson isn't just that clever marketing and timing can turn even the simplest, silliest ideas into million-dollar business successes. It's about understanding perceived value and sheer ingenuity. The pet rock product, just a rock.
Right.
But the idea, the funny packaging, the satirical care manual, the storytelling around it, that's what people bought. The insight here is really deep. Creativity and storytelling matter more than the product. Sell the idea right, and profits can follow no matter how unusual.
So it's about the framing, the angle.
Exactly. And that links back to wealth building because it shows it's not always about traditional methods or inventing something totally new. It's often about seeing a need, maybe even creating one, and then framing your solution cleverly. Capturing imagination highlights ingenuity, understanding psychology, strategic positioning. That same creativity applies to digital monetization, finding investments, even budgeting smartly. It's about seeing opportunity where others just see, well, a rock.
Wow. Okay, that's a perspective I hadn't considered. From a rock. What an incredible journey we've taken then. From rich versus wealthy, through digital tools, simple investing, and even pet rocks. We've seen wealth is less about the flash, more about strategic, sustainable growth. So thinking about all this, what does it mean for you listening as you consider your own financial path?
Yeah, and the source offers a really grounding final thought, something that ties it all together. I used to think being rich meant spending big. Now I know wealth is peace, like paying rent without flinching.
That hits home. Peace.
It's a powerful reframe, isn't it? From external show to internal security. It underscores that every small habit you stack adds up. You're building something.
Yeah.
It's not about overnight success. It's consistent, intentional actions, setting up that investment, diversifying income, learning to budget. So this brings up a question for you to think about. What does financial peace actually look like in your life? And what small steps could you take, maybe starting this week, to cultivate that?
Exactly. And remember that final reminder from our source. Quiet wealth is still wealth. Keep going. It's a journey. Every step counts. So here's a final thought for you to take away, something to mull over. What small, consistent financial habit, maybe sparked by something you heard today, can you start this week to build your own quiet wealth and move just a little closer to that feeling of real financial peace? Think about it. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.